Hello everyone, my name is Seki and welcome back to It Gets So Lonely here. Sorry about the audio issues in the previous video. I didn't expect for the music to be that loud, but hopefully it should be better now. So let's continue where we left off. The sighing of the wind outside and distant rolling of the waves against the rocks do not disturb you. You feel after your midnight encounter of a Moorish kind, quite at ease, perhaps prematurely so. What happened to the icy fear which you prompted your frantic flight through the forest? Where has all that gone? Do you not think you are being a bit complacent? No? Oh well, you will. The following morning, when it arrives, it is cloudy and overcast. It is not a particularly pleasant morning, but at least it is not raining. That is some small consolation. You rise from your straw pallet, stretching, then glance about the interior of the fisherman's cottage. It looked dilapidated last night, when much of it was obscured by the shadows, but it looks even more so when subjected to the morning's light. The cottage's interior has the distinct, disquieting appearance of having been abandoned in a hurry. There's broken pottery strewn upon the ground, and the singular wooden chair, which once must have stood by the singular wooden table, is lying on the floor. The doors of the cupboards, meanwhile, are ajar, the shelves within depressingly bare. A quick search reveals a handful of edibles, but there is precious little to be getting on with. If you wish to live here comfortably, you will have to look into foraging. You ate very little last night and your stomach is empty. It was the malcontented rumblings of your stomach, in actual fact, which roused you from your slumber. But your body seems to be very far away indeed, much like the grey clouds which choke the sky. You are not thinking of your own physical discomforts. You are dwelling instead upon the events of the night prior. You cannot help but think of the mermaid. Did you truly meet an aquatic maiden last night, during your nightly stroll when you could not sleep? It sounds unreal, especially now that the sun has risen and the shadows from the night prior have dispersed. You cannot quite believe it. It must have been a dream. But why then can you recall it so very clearly? You help yourself to the scant food and drink available to you, all the while of thinking your next course of action. Now, what are you to do? You plan, of course, to return to the shore come nightfall, so that you might once again see the mermaid, but the night will not arrive for quite some time. You need to find some means of keeping yourself occupied until then. The uninspiring interior of the cottage does not furnish you with any particular ideas, so you decide to go for a walk. Your soul still aches after your exertions last night, but if you go slowly, you ought to be all right. That is what you hope, at least. You do not want to spend much longer than you have to in the fisherman's cottage, no matter how cold it might be outdoors. It's almost as cold as inside as it is out, and in any case, the cottage is far too small. You leave the cottage behind you and set off. You do not know where exactly you are going, but you suppose it does not matter overly much. You do not have any particular destination in mind. Huh. I wonder how they made these pictures, because they're so realistic. Your meanderings lead you to the cliffs, which are steep and sharp. The drop to the shore is a perilous one, so much so that you have to wonder at how you were able to descend the cliffs the night prior to meet the mermaid. You are rather more determined than you ever realized, though I, of course, could have told you that much. You are surprisingly capricious for such a small, slender human. You walk along the side of the cliffs, keeping a sensible distance away from the drop to the shore. You might have survived last night's excitement unscathed, but you do not fancy trying your luck. It would be so like you, really, to avoid a drop to your death in the darkness, only to stumble during the morning's light and take an irreversible tumble. Your fortunes have never been the fairest. Your meanderings along the cliff reveal to you a manner of curious flora. You thought the night prior that the cliffs were weather blasted, but you can see now that your assumptions were incorrect. There are flowers here, very warm and bright, like the sun's light during the summertime. Or you think, with a flash of pleasure, the fair hair of the mermaid, whom you are certain you spoke to last night. These flowers are so very like her hair, it is uncanny. You step toward the flowers, drawn towards them, and sink down to your knees. The tall grass brushes your ankles like a caress, the morning's dew wetting your skirt. Your clothes are getting damp, as are your legs, but you care not for this minor discomfort. You have just an idea. Why not make a gift for your new friend? You are sure that she would appreciate it. Why would she not? She told you in a voice which was steeped with dolor that she had been feeling lonely. You want to see her again, and when you next see her, you would like to make her smile. It is with this thought in mind that you begin to pick the flowers which are growing upon the cliffside. These flowers do not have any thorns, and their delicate stems snap easily enough between your fingers. You take care when plucking these flowers to leave a substantial amount of stem intact. You will need these stems so that you might twine the flowers together. Flower crown! You mean to make for your mermaid a diadem, something she will be able to wear in her hair. This tiara is certain to suit her. She is so pretty. Anything would suit her. You continue to work, slow and steadfast, as the weak sun shines. It takes time, but you are eventually able to fashion something you are satisfied with. You only hope the mermaid will feel similarly, if indeed she really does exist. Carefully, you pocket your makeshift diadem, then decide to forage for some food. You discover during your search some fruit trees whose sweet burdens are enough to fortify your spirits, for the present at least. It is fortunate, really, that you are so excited about your moonlight rendezvous with the mermaid. If you were less focused upon the future and dwelt more in the immediate present, you might have more of an appetite. The emptiness in your stomach what? I do not know that word. You return to the cottage. Worried, you mean to wait for the setting of the sun. There is very little to do, you soon discover, in the cottage other than the checking of the cupboards and the sweeping of the floor, occupations which both feel depressingly pointless. There are no books to read either, with which you might pass your idle hours. You do, however, busy yourself trying to light a fire, so that you might ward off the cold. The time is horribly slow in passing, in part because you have precious little to do, but also because you cannot stop thinking of the mermaid. Will she really return to the shore as she said she would? Can you truly trust her? Oh, you hope you can. If she were not present in your designated meeting place, you think you would die from disappointment. The seconds continue to... Reading is hard. I love visual novels, but my god, reading is hard. The seconds continue to trickle by, unchecked by any hourglass, and as they do, the sun sinks beneath the horizon. Part of you worries, however, that it might still be too early to search for the mermaid. Will she be there yet? You sit there, your stomach tied up in anxious knots, and as you listen to the wind, which buffets your windows, you hear it. The sound is faint, but you recall it well from the night before. There's a single solitary voice outdoors, tempest-tossed amidst the rolling waves. The voice is a high, clear one, silvery, if indeed voices can have colors, like a finely polished dinner plate in a noble woman's house. The voice belongs, of course, to the mermaid. Who else do you know with a voice as angelic as that? Relief begins to bubble up inside you, a relief so potent you feel so dizzy from it. She did not abandon you after all. Why, you wonder, did you ever think she would? She said that she wanted to see you. Did you think that a mere nicety? What? Buoyed, as if by a gentle breeze, you hurried to the door. With trembling fingers, they are trembling, I presume, from excitement rather than fear, you seize the handle, then turn it. Then you step out into the dark, inky night. You walk towards the cliffs, as you did the night prior, beneath the cover of the inky blue sky, the wind moaning fitfully with every step you take. Your soul still ache from your expedition the day prior, but you are able to ignore this discomfort. It seems irrelevant, really, when compared to the prospect of once again meeting the mermaid. You have known her for only one night, yet she has come to mean more to you than your own well-being. You would do anything for the mermaid if she asked it. Well, almost anything. You hurry down the sharp incline of the cliffs to the shore, almost stumbling down in your scuffed brown shoes, which really were not built with rock climbing in mind. So frantic are you in your attempts to once again make the mermaid's acquaintance, you very nearly fall. It is a good thing that you still have enough sense about you to regain your footing. Otherwise, this tale would come to a premature ending. Eventually, you make your way onto the shore, then approach the jagged outcrop of rock where you last saw the mermaid. Where at? I think it's where at. I've been pronouncing it wrong. I apologize. Like the night prior, the mermaid is perched upon these rocks, her fair hair strewn about her shoulders. When she sees you from across the shore, she ceases her singing and her eyes lit up. Or at least, they seem to. "So you have returned to me, my hero," the mermaid says, and then lightly she giggles. Or perhaps should I say, heroine? Her praise makes you blush. You do not feel worthy of it. Nobody has ever called you a heroine before. You do not even think yourself as a heroine. If a story were made about you, you would rather think that you would be a supporting character, one without her own voice. You are not interesting enough. The mermaid seems to think that you are, though. She is staring at you delightedly, as though you are the one person in the world she most wishes to speak to. The thought makes you tremble, but not as much as the mermaid's gaze. You tell the mermaid that you do not think you are so very brave, but she dismisses your awkward remark with a laugh. "I think you are. I saw the way you scaled those cliffs. I thought that was very heroic." "Oh, so she saw that, did she? Then did she see how you slipped down the cliffs, grazing your palms in the process, and how you very nearly fell? You have never been the most graceful of girls, but to have your failings exposed before a being as poised and perfect as the mermaid, it stings a little bit more, in fact, than the resultant grazes on your palms your clumsiness wrought you." You tell the mermaid that there was nothing so very heroic about all of that. You were simply excited, that is all, to see her again. You weren't thinking. "Well, that makes two of us. I was excited to see you again." She was? "Naturally. I had a very good time speaking to you last night. I had hoped that we might resume our correspondence. That is why I came to the rocks a little bit earlier than usual. I was waiting for you." "Did you hear my song?" "Yes," you reply, with a nod of your head. You heard it, all the way in the abandoned cottage. It called out to you. "That was the general idea. I was singing for you." She was? You do not think that you are worthy of the mermaid's song, but if she does not mind dedicating her voice to you, then... "Well, who else would I dedicate my voice to? There is nobody to hear me." "That is a good point, you suppose." Shyly, you look back at the mermaid. You thank her for the song. It was very beautiful. Then tell her, before you can lose your nerve, that you have prepared a present for her too. "Oh, have you really?" "You have. It was a small thing. Nothing more than a silly trinket. But if it would not be too much of an imposition, then..." With clumsy fingers, you reach into your pocket. For a few moments, you fret that your near fall down the cliff might have damaged the delicate chain nestled within it, but your worries are in vain. The chain is surprisingly sturdy, given it was only made with only a few flowers, and it has held firm against the odds. You handle the chain with great care all the same. However, as you hold it out, presenting it for the mermaid's approbation, it was for the mermaid that you fashioned this chain. You thought that it would look nice nestled in her hair. You were pleased with the chain when you first made it, but after looking at the mermaid you have begun to reconsider. The mermaid's beauty is otherworldly, so much so it almost hurts to look at her. Your flower crown, by comparison, seems a very meager offering indeed. The longer you held your gift out, the more unworthy it feels. You have half a mind, as the seconds elapse, to snatch your silly, wholly unworthy gift back to the mermaid before she can judge you too harshly. But the mermaid's lips curve into a smile, and in a voice so full of gratitude it makes your heart throb, she says, "Oh my, did you make this for me?" "Well, yes," you reply, still feeling a little flustered. You saw these flowers earlier when you went for a walk, and they made you think of her. Not, you hasten to add, that you think her beauty is comparable to these flowers. They are far inferior when contrasted with her good looks. You simply thought. You are unable to get the rest of this sentence out, however, because the mermaid interrupts you, not rudely, but with something resembling compassion. Perhaps she pities you. She must be able to hear how your voice is trembling. She can also see the way Can she also see the way your hands tremor? Oh dear. Faint heart never won the hands of a fair maiden, you know. What happened to all of your confidence? I think that your gift is a wonderful one. I did not at all expect it, but it is really pretty. You look at your feet, too shy to meet the mermaid's gaze. Then you say, very quietly, that you are glad that she thinks so, but she does not need to spare your ego. You have precious little of it left as it is. The mermaid seems touched by your shyness. Perhaps she likes her prey to be self-conscious, because she smiles. I am not simply saying things to spare your ego. I am not like that. Humans might spout platitudes as easily as they breathe air, but I do not compliment others unless I truly mean it. Is that not the point of the speech? To have an honest dialogue with one another? If one party in a conversation is withholding their true intentions, then conversation is impossible. Playing games is a waste of my time, particularly given my time above the surface is so very limited. Oh. You blush at this, more deeply still, and survey the mermaid beneath the full fringe of your eyelashes. Then, does she really does like it? Did I not just say that? Your humans are very funny. What? You humans are so very funny. What with all your second guessing? She was like that too in the beginning. She? My friend. The mermaid's answer is a simple one, but it makes your stomach clench regardless. Ah, yes, her friend. How could you have forgotten about her? She used to make gifts for me too. You know, gifts like this one. She would pick flowers on the cliffs over there, where I cannot tread. The mermaid gestures with one hand to the cliffs, which tower above the shore, tall and imposing, as though to stab the sky above. And she would fashion them into crowns like this one, and bracelets. I was appreciative of her tokens, though she was similarly shy when first she presented them to me. She did not seem to think very much of her handiwork. You and her are remarkably similar, really. There's no guile in the mermaid's voice, but her words have rather taken the wind out of your sails. Of course, the cowherd gave the mermaids gifts. Why would she not? The mermaid is beautiful. She is so very beautiful, like a tutelary goddess. She seems to invite tribute simply by existing. Were you more religious, or more irreligious, maybe, you might even consider worshipping her. Though in essence, is that not what you were doing with her flower crown? How silly of you, to think that your idea was an original one. I might I might be accustomed to gifts, but it has been a long time since any human has bequeathed me with anything. This is a pleasant surprise. I am thankful for your kindness, dear one. The mermaid leans forward on her rock, so as to pluck the circlet from your fingers. Her benevolent smile, all the while, is unwavering. And now that I look at your gift more closely, I rather think it is of a superior quality to the gifts my old friend once gave me. Now this is enough to make you start, if the touch of the mermaid's fingers upon your own was not. Could your silly gift really be better than those she once accepted? I think so. My friend's trinkets were all rather clumsy in execution, though I cherished them nonetheless. They were very precious to me. They did not last for very long, though, not when I took them with me to my home beneath the ocean. The water soon rained the fragile links between the flower stems asunder. Your diadem, however, seems more sturdy, but it is, by the same token, very delicate. You must be very good with your hands. You think back briefly on your disastrous sewing lessons in the past, of your numerous failed attempts to thread your needle, while the other girls giggled at you, and you blush. You think the mermaid's praise might be a touch too effusive. You tell the mermaid as much, but she only laughs. I do not think so, now. Oh, she's wearing it! That's so cute! The mermaid places your floral trinket upon her head, over her long fair hair, then surveys you in a manner which seems almost coquettish. Oh my gosh, why did I only realize I'm blocking the text right now? There we go. I'm not blocking the text anymore. What do you think? You think that the mermaid looks radiant, though that is less because of your gift and more because of her natural looks. You tell the mermaid this, though not in terms quite this glowing, and she giggles. You are selling yourself too short. I think your gift is lovely, really. The flowers match my hair. Yes, you answer, with a nod of your head. That is why you picked those flowers. She is all you have been able to think of. I am glad that you have been thinking of me. I, in truth, have been thinking of you, though I did not wish to say as much. No? No, it would be embarrassing to confess to how much I have been looking forward to our reunion if you did not feel similarly. I do not care to pine for humans from afar. But if you care for me as I do you, then it makes me feel less alone. You hasten to assure the mermaid, your face aflame. Do you ever stop blushing? Goodness gracious! That you do care for her, very much so. You have not known her for very long, but she has certainly made an impression upon you. She is such an easy conversationalist. The time simply slips by when you are together. And it does not hurt, of course, that she is so pretty. I have heard it said, yes, that my looks are rather appealing. My old friend was similarly complimentary. I cannot blame you humans for being so taken with me, when my form is so very graceful. Your legs seem rather cumbersome in comparison to my smooth, sleek tail. It must be so very depressing to lumber about on land as you do, living your days beneath the harsh sun and the cool, unfeeling moon. Sometimes I rather think I pity you. But the surface is a good deal brighter than it is beneath the ocean. I will grant you that much. You agree with the mermaid, still feeling flushed, that there are some perks to having legs, an agreement which makes the mermaid giggle. I am certain that there are, though you cannot explore the ocean's depths as I can. I presume you have never tried it? You shake your head. No. You have never thought to do so, largely because you have never been so close to the sea before, not in all of your life. You did not have much opportunity for nautical exploration in the past. You were not allowed to go anywhere then, save to the local church. It was quite a lonely existence. Well now, that's a pity. You were kind enough to give me a gift fashioned from flowers which grow where I cannot reach them, so perhaps I ought to return the favor. The favor? Yes, that is right. It would seem only fitting that I give to you something which can only be found in the ocean's depths. Perhaps we can look at it as a form of cultural exchange. Oh no, he protests, your eyes wide. You couldn't possibly put such a burden upon her. You did not give her a gift, after all, because you wanted to receive anything in return. Anything other than her friendship, that is. Her conversation is more than enough to satisfy you. You do not need any physical presence on top of that. The mermaid does not seem convinced, however, by your naysaying. She raises one eyebrow. Even this gesture is performed elegantly. Then says, "If my company is all it takes to satisfy you, then you are easy to please indeed. But please, do not rebuff me. I am offering because I wish to do this. Remember what I said. I do not say things for the sake of it." Well, you murmur, if she really doesn't mind. Of course I do not mind. Now wait here. I will not be very long. It would be rude to abandon my new friend in the midst of conversation. The mermaid turns her attention towards the clear mirror-like water, which shimmers beneath the moonlight. Then she dives. Her body arches elegantly through the air, her long, slender limbs cleaving through the surface of the water with nary a ripple. The mermaid's face is first submerged, then her torso, and at long last, her tail. The water rushes forth to envelop her, as though it has been waiting for her. It subsumes her. It swallows her. Then she disappears from view. The mermaid is gone, but you are still there. Well, now what are you to do? There's nothing that can be done, you suppose, save waiting. You stand there for several moments, watching the black water lap against the shore. The breeze howls mournfully like a wounded animal, as it buffets about your hair about your face and your torn skirt around your legs. Time elapses, but how much of it? While you stand there, fretfully, feeling as ostentatious as a maypole. When will the mermaid return? Will she ever return? You are starting to worry. Is that all you can do? Look, over there, by the rocks upon which the mermaid once sat, the water is rippling. It looks as though your new friend has returned. The mermaid pulls herself onto the rocks, using a surprising amount of upper body strength, then smiles at you. I apologize for the wait. I hope I did not make you worry. You were worrying, but you are not half so honest as the mermaid. Mermaids might be spoken as devious tricksters who lure sailors to their deaths, but they are in actuality very sincere. Actually, it's sirens who lure sailors, not the mermaids. Mermaids are there to look pretty, I think. Maybe? Yeah, I'm right. I just had to double check. Mermaids are harmless. They're much more sincere than most humans. Perhaps that's why your kind fears them so. There are few creatures who inhabit this world whose capacity for lying is greater than your own. You tell the mermaid that you are not worrying, and she answers with a wry smile. I'm not so sure about that. The mermaid is willier than you are giving her credit for. She has seen straight through you. But no matter. It took me some time, but I was finally able to retrieve for you a gift. I do not have the means to turn this into a pretty piece of jewelry, as you did with the flowers, but I wish to give it to you nonetheless. I do hope you like it. The mermaid leans forwards, then holds her gift out towards you. Her slender fingers unfurl about it, like the petals of a flower being folded and... Oh, it's a shell! Oh, what a pretty gift it is. The ocean might be dark and deep, cold and unfeeling, but the same cannot be said for the object which glitters upon the mermaid's palm. She has fished from the depths of the water a beautiful shell, one which shimmers prismatic colors beneath the moon's light, much like the scales on her tail. The shell is so very pretty, it quite takes your breath away. You look at the shell worriedly. your teeth biting your lower lip. That is a bad habit, you know. You will make yourself bleed. Then ask the mermaid if this is really alright. Would a gift like this not be wasted on you? Of course not! I want you to have this shell because it makes me think of you. It does? How so? I thought it should be obvious. The shell is a lovely find. As are you. Oh. Did she just call you lovely? Surely you must have misheard her. You can scarcely believe it. It is an awful lot for you to take in, but... Now, why are you gawping at me like that? The wind will change, you know, and then your face will be stuck like that, which would be quite the shame. You would waste your good looks, which, for a maiden such as yourself, would be nothing short of a tragedy. It seems as though the mermaid really does think you are pretty after all. The mermaid, with her smooth skin and her fair hair. You can scarcely believe it. There is something almost laughable about the mermaid's compliments. How could she call you pretty when her looks are so immediately obviously superior? Tongue-tied, you look at your feet. You do not know how to reply to the mermaid. You have half a mind to refute her words, to tell her that you are not that pretty. Not really, but you fear that might look rude. You do not want to rebuff the mermaid's well wishes. There is nothing for it then, but to take the shell which the mermaid retrieved from the ocean depths for you. You do not think that you are worthy of it, but neither do you want to refuse it. Now that is a surprise, the mermaid says, amused as you reach for the shell. I did not think you would be bold enough to take it, not without more coaxing. I know this word, I don't know how to pronounce it. Not without more convincing on my part. You have exceeded my expectations. What a good girl you are. Good girl? Oh, okay. Girl? Okay. Your heart flutters with this praise, and it flutters all the more when your trembling fingers brush against the mermaid's palm. She pressures the shell into your skin, and your own fingers tighten about it. The shell is sharp and pointed, and it digs uncomfortably into your skin. It hurts, but there is pleasure in the pain. Oh my... Huh? Girl, it's just a seashell. It's just a seashell. This too feels like a gift from the mermaid. You do not want to spurn it. Even pain can be a precious thing when dealt by the one whom you care for. Okay, now there's 𝐻𝐿𝐼. That's a bit sus. You never knew that before. You hold the shell to your heart, which is beating an irregular rhythm, and look at the mermaid. Then very softly, you thank her. It is quite alright. It seems only fair. After you shared part of your world with me. Part of your world? I wish to share part of my world with you too. Humans cannot normally descend beneath the ocean's depths, and even if they do, they cannot remain there for very long. You are far too fragile. With that I would bring you with me to my underwater kingdom, where we might be together. The mermaid's melodic voice trails away, suffused with something resembling melancholia. She sighs. Then she shakes her head and smiles. That was hard to say. But this will have to do for the present. Please, take good care of that shell. Look at it from time to time, and think of me. That would make me very happy indeed. The days pass, following this nightly encounter with your aquatic acquaintance with an almost intolerable slowness. You endure the hours of sunlight as best as you can by going for long, bracing walks amidst the heather, foraging for berries and fruits amongst the hedgerows. You even, when you have mustered enough of courage, take an old fishing line uncovered in the fisherman's cottage and try your luck by the shore. Your initial attempts at angling are without success, but as the time passes, your proficiency in the art grows. Some time after you take up your rod, you find that you are finally able to catch the odd fish here and there, small scrawny things mostly, but the meat goes a ways to bolstering your rudimentary diet. Oh no, I don't like fish. I especially don't like grilled fish. But what can you do to survive? You teach yourself how to remove the scales of these saltwater fish that you have captured and how to gut them. You learn too how to cook them over a simple fire. Sometimes you screw over these fish of yours on spikes and roast them slowly, innards and all. You are able to sustain yourself well enough during the day, though the faint pangs of hunger you experience never quite go away. Your physical discomfort, however, is secondary when compared to your desire to visit the mermaid. Your days might be dull and drab, but your nights, comparatively, are made of magic. It is only during the night that the mermaid emerges from beneath the waves, and when she does, you hurry to your side. You have never before had anybody who took so great an interest in you, not until you met the mermaid. That is why she has grown to mean so very much to you. She is the first friend you have ever had, but if you do not temper your obsession accordingly, I fear she may very well be your last. What? Hold on, I need to see the log. How do you see the log? She's the first friend you have ever lost, but if you do not... Is this gonna be a thing where we are the yandere and not the characters? You care little for the potential danger, however, which lurks beneath your interactions with the mermaid. You want only to show the mermaid how much that you value her, and you hope within time that she will come to value you too. If you keep seeing her, surely she will stop thinking of her human friend whom she lost so suddenly. Main character, can you please calm yourself first, please? That is your plan at least. What? Okay. Fortunately, your self-serving wish to grow closer to the mermaid seems close to being granted. Your nightly conversations when you greet her come easily enough, the words tumbling from your mouth like a thread. You have grown rather comfortable in the mermaid's company, and she yours. She must have, for it is not long after you bequeath your diadem of flowers to the mermaid that she looks at you, then posits a curious question. I was wondering, dear one, whether you would mind indulging me. I know this might not seem like an appealing proposition, but I thought it would be remiss of me to not ask it. I have seen some of your world, for I have sat on the shore for many, many nights hence, but you have seen nothing of mine. It seems unfair that I should know some of the world that you inhabit, while you know so little of my own. So, would you care to come with me, beneath the ocean's waves? There's much that I wish to show you, sights that I cannot, I fear, be accurately represented in language alone. Words can be awfully stifling when it comes to the communication of experiences such as this. It is quite the florid speech, but at the heart of it beats a simple enough request. The mermaid wishes to bring you beneath the ocean's surface so that she might show you her home. You are flattered initially that the mermaid wishes to show you something so personal, but after this flare of flirtation, there comes an uncomfortable sense of unease. The mermaid might feel at home beneath the water's surface, but what of you? You are a human girl with two awkward, ungainly legs, and you are not made to live under the sea. You frown and mistrustfully you look at the ocean. It is late at night, as it always is when you speak to the mermaid, and the water does not look blue. It appears instead to be obsidian. The waves moan as they break against the rocks, which jut out of the shore like the mighty dragon's bones. They sound angry, violent almost. Salty sea sprays arcs through the air, caught in the moonlight. It shimmers, sharp as knives. Hesitantly, you take a step back. You are a little afraid of the sea. It is so restless, so deep, and so all-consuming. It reminds you of a hungry monster. You have never submerged yourself beneath the ocean before. You never had the opportunity. You do not even know how to swim. You are fearful for your own safety. Should you consent to dive beneath the undulating meniscus of the water, but... Do not look so frightened, dear one. I will be with you, and I will not let you go. You have my word. Shyly, you glance at the mermaid. She is still perched upon her rock, her hands folded neatly upon her. Well, she does not have a lap. Not really. You are still afraid, but the mermaid's reassurance does help. Has she not told you numerous times that she is nothing if not honest? You trust her not to break her word. She will not leave you beneath the waves, abandoning you to a cruel, lonely fate, to become the food of so many fish. Of that you are certain. That is why, despite all your misgivings, you find yourself nodding your head. If that is what she wants, then you will accompany her. You are interested too in what lies beneath the ocean's surface, out of sight. Oh, I knew that you would agree. Thank you very much for humoring me. I will endeavor to make these next few moments the most memorable you have ever experienced. Now, would you care to come with me? I shall be your guide. The ocean's depths might be dark, but I will not let you get away from me. I promise. The mermaid extends her hand towards you, a hand which seems to cut through the moonlight, just like a blade. The moon's celestial ray plays against the mermaid's upturned palm so that it shimmers. The mermaid's hair, too, is glowing, backlit by Selene's glow, so that she almost looks like an angel. Her beauty is such that, for a few moments, you cannot do anything, neither step towards her, nor back away. You feel frozen in place, rooted into the sand, like some shore-growing tree. You still do not understand why the mermaid has taken such an interest in you, but an old adage does occur to you. You ought not to look a gift horse in the mouth, or ignores the pleas of a graceful, dignified mermaid. You reach out, your arms shaking like the skinny bow of an ancient tree. Golden bow, wink, 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 wink. Oh my god, can my model not wink? It does not wink! No! But yeah, golden bow. Oh my god, I know that's a story. And if this visual novel is based on various stories, I wouldn't be surprised. The mermaid's fingers curl about your own, her nails. Only now you notice how sharp they are, digging into your skin. Though the mermaid herself looks very soft, her grip is surprisingly strong. You do not think if she willed it, you will be able to get away from her. But why would you want to? She does not mean you any harm. Now, let us be on our way. There's much to see in my underwater kingdom. I cannot wait to show it to you. The mermaid turns towards the ocean, as do you. A brief moment passes, one during which you allow yourself to stand there, your hand claimed by the mermaid's, as the wind buffets your hair and your skirts. You inhale deeply. The smell of the salt is heavy in the back of your nostrils, so much so you could choke on it. It is not a particularly pleasant smell, but you have grown accustomed to it after living in your tumble-down cottage by the shore. It is nostalgic, almost. You have a vague feeling, as you stand on the precipice between your world and that of your aquatic companions, that you might never again be able to smell the salt in the air like this. That is just a silly supposition, though. Man, I miss going to the beach. You are being foolish. The mermaid will return you back to the surface in due course, will she not? You hope that she will. You, unlike her, cannot breathe underwater. You open your mouth, meaning to ask the mermaid about this fact, but you are not afforded the opportunity to speak. The mermaid has already shifted, her fingers still twined about yours. She dives forwards, her body slicing through the surface of the water like a knife, and you, inexorably, are dragged along with her. Whoa! Oh my god, wait, I'm gonna say, this is so pretty. Wait, I know that I can see like all the CGs later, but my god, this is so cute. The water rushes forwards to meet you in a sudden shocking rush. The mermaid's descent might be graceful, but yours is anything but. You do not know how to position your legs, and your limbs feel awfully ungainly. The shock of the water as it touches your skin, meanwhile, is intense. You did not think that the water would be this cold. No, it is not just cold, it is freezing. It feels as though all the warmth has been sapped out of your skin. If your head was not already beneath the ocean's waves, you would gasp from it. You do not gasp, however. You cannot. You have already been submerged. Your body no longer feels as though it is your own. Your hair is unspooling behind you like a thread, and your skirt is fluttering. Your body rocks to and fro, as though being soothed in a mother's arms. It is a curious feeling, but it's not wholly unpleasant. If only it were not so cold down here, beneath the ocean's depths, you might find it relaxing. It is dark under the surface of the water, yes, but you have not ventured so far, not yet at least, that the glow of the moon cannot penetrate its depths. Your surroundings are illuminated, though faintly, and thanks to this precious illumination, you can see the schools of fish swimming about you. Their scales all glisten, as they arc through the waves like rainbows. They do not look like life forms. They appear instead, to your fairy tale-addled mind, to be ancient relics brought to life through some strange arcane sorcery. They are pretty. No, that word is not significant enough. They are beautiful. You did not know, as you stood upon the shore, how very full of life it was beneath the water's surface. You did not know either how very beautiful these aquatic denizens of the deep were. You have never seen fish like these before, not in real life. You have memories, vague, hazy memories of dissecting a fish once, in a particularly gruesome biology lesson. But that feels like a very long time ago now. I still haven't done that. I have heard people dissecting frogs and stuff, but me personally, no, I have never experienced that. You would far rather think on your present than dwell upon the past. But the seconds pass, and as they do, the mermaid continues to swim, leading you deeper and deeper into the ocean's depths. Well, once you were close enough to the water's surface that the moon's light could still slice through the waves, now it is so very dark you can scarcely see. Your vision is beginning to blur. You can feel an uncomfortable pressure weighing down on your inner body. Oh my god, wait. There's this thing, the water pressure, yeah, where the deeper you go, the harder it is for it to breathe. You have descended, you realize, with a ripple of anxiety too deep. Humans were not meant to descend into these depths. The water, once cold, now feels freezing. It caresses every inch of your exposed flesh, as if to sap what little warmth you might still possess. You shiver, and when you do, you swear that you can hear your teeth chattering, despite the water which stops your ears. Wait. The water stopping up your nostrils. That's so cool! Oh my god, I hit my mic. Is it just me, or does the audio sound more muffled? No, the audio didn't sound muffled. There was just more water sounds. Oh my god, that's so cool! There's so much water down here at the bottom of the ocean. It is endless. The mermaid might be able to breathe underwater, but you are not so very fortunate. Your body is far less sophisticated than hers, and it requires oxygen with which to furnish your body with continued strength, not salt water. The thought of trying to inhale the endless water which surrounds you makes you shudder. You would rather not attempt it. You do not have gills. When will the mermaid take you back to the surface? Oh my god, it's getting more muffled again. Surely she must know that you have fast begun to near your limit. You have been under the water for too long, and it is too cold, and it is so dark now. In any event, you cannot see much of anything. The joy you once felt during your underwater adventure has begun to dissipate, just like the last of the oxygen you still possess. It is time to return to the surface now, but how are you to communicate this to the mermaid? You cannot speak, and she is not looking at you. She's staring fixedly at something beyond your comprehension, something far away perhaps, in the underwater gloom that you cannot see. Not knowing what else to do, you try to pull your arm free from the mermaid's grasp. You hope that this will signal to her that she has grown too carried away in her endeavors, that you ought to cut short your expedition and return you to the shore. The mermaid does not react, however, to your attempts to escape her. Yeah, the water levels are increasing. Oh my gosh. Oh my god, that's... Only the vocals are clear. It's that the water sounds are making it louder. Or louder, what I mean. Oh my god, I don't know how to explain it. It's just so cool. Her grip does not slacken, as you had hoped, from about your wrist. It is, in fact, it is quite the opposite. It feels as though she is gripping you more tightly than she was, as if to prevent your escape. But why would she do that? You tap on the mermaid's shoulder to get her attention, a gesture which prompts her, at long last, to turn. Her hair billows about her, suspended in the water like a shroud. Then she says, in this calm, measured, and incredibly reasonable voice of hers, "Yes, dear one? What is it?" If you could, you would open her mouth to reply to her, but alas, you are a human girl, not a fish, and you cannot speak underwater. Any attempt to do so would accomplish naught save filling your pretty little mouth with water. The mermaid really ought to have considered that before she started to ask you questions. But your comfort seems to be the last thing on the mermaid's mind. She smiles at you gently, delicately, then says, "I understand. Being underwater for so long must be beginning to take its toll. Do your lungs feel like iron? Are they heavy?" So she does understand your woes. You might not be able to speak, suspended as you are in the dark, murky depths, but communication is not wholly impossible. You nod your head empathetically, hoping that this will be enough to make your distress apparent, but yes, that will happen. It is a natural part, or so I have heard, of drowning. Not that I have ever had the opportunity to experience it for myself. Wow! Oh my god! Wow! We're drowning! I'm incapable, you see, of meeting my demise in such a manner. Now, what was that? What could she mean? I mean, the mermaid answers. Can she read minds? The illustration, oh my god, it changed a bit. It changed you a bit. That this was a calculated act upon my part. Forgive me, dear one, but the moment you consented to sinking beneath the water with me, your fate was sealed. Your lungs will be flooded with water soon enough. Then you will die. It is not a pretty way to go. You needn't worry about your corpse bloating, disfiguring, or being eaten by fish, though. I will take very good care of it. I promise. Wait, what if the previous girl she was with, oh my god, she also took her under the water, and now she just has a collection of dead girls in her cave or whatever. In death, you would look very lovely. You will look lovely, almost angelic. Is that not what you always wanted? You do not know what the mermaid thinks it is exactly that you want, but you think she is laboring under some severe misunderstandings. You would like to try and correct her that you do not want to die, but of course, you cannot open your mouth. What a pity. Well, at least it saves me the effort of transcribing your dying pleas. I am still questioning who this narrator is. I know it's in second person, but me? It sometimes uses me and I, so like, who? I doubt they would be particularly interesting. Oh yeah, I forgot normal narrators exist. But still I find it suspicious. If you want to know why I'm doing this, then I would not mind obliging. I have no secrets to keep from you. Other than the secret, perhaps, that upon your first meeting she nursed within her cold fish's heart the desire to bring about your watery murder. You might have liked to know that before you agreed to sink beneath the ocean's surface with her. Well, obviously she's not going to tell you she's planning to murder you. I am only doing this because I have no choice. The other girl I liked, after all, the one whom I adored, disappeared. She went away, and I was never again afforded the opportunity to see her. You remind me of that girl, though you do not look much alike. You do not very act alike either. But you are both humans, who, despite your delicacies, have no shortage of determination. How your kind is able to live when your lifespans are so very short, and you are susceptible to so very many diseases, it is a mystery to me. Though my lifespan far eclipses your own, and I am far sturdier, I cannot help but marvel at the tenacity of you humans. I know that if I were as fragile as you are, I would not be able to exist in this world. I would be far too afraid. I would see my own death lurking behind every corner. Just as you can see your own death looming before you, it is not so very far away now. You can feel it coming in closer and closer, and closing its cold, icy fingers around your throat. You humans are incredible. I cannot help but respect you, weak and pitiful though you are. She respects your tenacity so very much, she wishes to extinguish it? That does not make very much sense. Perhaps my words are confusing to you, but it makes perfect sense, to me at least. My beloved cowherd left me. I do not know where she went, or what happened to her. Perhaps she was murdered by bandits. Perhaps she contracted a horrible disease. Perhaps she simply fell and cracked her skull. I do not know. I will never know. For many, many days and many, many nights, her disappearance tormented me. I could not help but wonder how it came about, but there were so many possibilities I could not imagine all of them. This thought terrified me. It still does. That is why I'm going to take you to my underwater kingdom with me. There, we can be together forever. Nothing will be able to tear us apart then. I will brush your hair, and I will dress you in the finest pearls found from the bottom of the seabed. It will be lovely, much, much lovelier than any sort of miserable existence you might be able to eke out above the water. In my citadel, you will never be attacked by bandits, nor ravaged by diseases. You will be quite safe, I promise. Yeah, but at the cost of being dead. Quite safe, yes, and quite dead too, surely. That's what I just said. Well, yes, that's the only unfortunate aspect of my plan. She considers your death nothing more than a mere misfortune? The mermaid might be surprisingly cold after all. But perhaps you ought to have predicted this. She is part fish. Are fish not cold-blooded, like lizards? You probably learned this at some point during biology class, but your lessons are beginning to feel very faint and far away now. Your body is beginning to fail you. You cannot take much more of this. It is a necessary sacrifice, though, if we are to be happy. I am doing this, you know, for both our sakes. I do apologize for tricking you, but please, try to understand. I really have been lonely. You would be more inclined to sympathize with her, perhaps. Oh, narrator voice. You would be more inclined to sympathize with her, perhaps, if her loneliness was not ushering in your inevitable demise. But you are too preoccupied with your own dwindling reserves of oxygen to feel much in the way of anything for your captor. You can feel the pressure of the water against your eyes. They are beginning to ache. Perhaps you are crying. You do not know. The water masks too much of your anguish. You have been drifting underwater for almost 3 minutes. That is a remarkably long time to go without any air. Your vision is beginning to cloud. Your surroundings, already dark, look darker, Still, unpleasant and obscure, and not at all like the paradise the mermaid promised you. The pain of being suffocated, slowly, is far stronger and far more oppressive than the sensation of the mermaid's hand wound tightly about your arm. Is there no escape for you? The prognosis, I am sorry to say, is grim. Your fate, as the mermaid said, really was sealed the moment you met her. Miat. Luxuriating on those rocks beneath the moonlight. But you'll forgive me if my sympathy is limited. You did bring this upon yourself, you know. You reap what you sow, and in your case, you made a series of bad decisions which led to your untimely demise. Now what do you want to do? Will you accept this fate of yours and rest in peace? Or will you try to fight against it? I should have saved! No! No! Oh my god. I should have saved! No! You know what? I'll accept it. Bad endings go first. That's a bit of an anticlimactic answer in this juncture in your life story. But I suppose it would be remiss of me to lecture you too much. I'm sure you are well aware of what terrible series of decisions you have made. There's no need for me to belabor the point. That would be boorish, not to mention tedious. I am rather tired of scolding you. So instead, I think I will content myself with loving you. Who? No, I think this is an actual person. This is an actual character. What? You thought, in your death, the mermaid was the only one who would be able to cassette you? I know I have said this before, but you really are naive. You cannot escape me, even if you are at the bottom of the deepest, darkest ocean. The world might have forsaken you, but I never will. I will never leave you. You will never be lonely again. Okay, so apparently there was a bit more to the story. So I'll just load back. Now what do you want to do? Will you accept this fate? Blah 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 blah. Let's fight against fate! Ah, I like that look on your face. It's a look full of determination. The self-same determination which first prompted me to take an interest in you. Who the fuck? It's Carmen. Just kidding, I don't know. I don't know anything. I know this isn't related to Project Moon, I'm just joking. I can tell that you are not happy with this ending. You did not come all of this way, after all, to drown. That is quite the indecorous demise, regardless of how many fine stones and shells the mermaid means to twine through your hair after your death. If you wish to carve out a new story for yourself, then I would be only too happy to indulge you. Just try not to get on the bad side, or good side, of any homicidal naiads this time. The drowning of fair maidens is something of a cliché. Your fate is once again in your hands. Oh, okay, looks like I can just save here. Now I wonder, which path will you take? Okay, maybe this is a better stat to save. I'm like doing this half blind. I have a guide. But yeah, it seems like we're gonna be able to visit the other places. Woo! Okay, so that is the first route with It Gets So Lonely in here. It's a bit of a mess at the end, but you know, I'm really invested in the story though. And I do want to 100% it, like, come on. So, I'll be seeing you next time in the village, probably. I don't know. Bye-bye.